the Future Sound Project podcast.
Hello and welcome to episode 5 time of the Future Sound Project podcast. My name's Tom and this is my brother Jay. Hello Jay.
Hello.
How you doing?
Very good, mate. All the better for the Booker T reference.
Yeah. How's your hangover?
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, which will be everyone, me and Tom are involved in a wrestling quiz that is each week on a Monday. And it started off with like about an hour a week. Now it starts at banter at 7:15. Quiz starts at 7:30. Then we do one quiz that lasts till about 10. Then we have something called the dark quiz, which is like another quiz that we do for another hour. And essentially, there's drinking games within the quiz. It's just an excuse in some ways to spend some time with your mates and have a few beers. But last night's was probably the biggest that we've had so far. And I came back into my office this morning and it was like someone had had a private party in here. And then I realised that that person was me. So, yeah, very hungover, very delicate today, but all the better for spending some time with people who I like very much.
Very sweet, mate.
Well, I wasn't including you there, mate, but there we go.
We actually recorded this podcast. What day did we actually record this podcast? Friday?
We recorded the podcast back end of last week, I think. Yeah, Friday?
Yeah, Friday maybe. So then we realised that when we came to put it out for Tuesday, that we didn't record the start. So actually, this has been recorded in retrospect. So, yeah, we're going to do a podcast about Baddies Boogie. It turned into the Rainbow Years. We spent time talking to George from Ivory Wave and Harry Davies, who used to be our rep as Baddies Boogie. And we just talked about the Rainbow. And we were there every Friday for probably 2 years, would you say?
2-3 years, yeah.
Over 2 years. And we had bands such as the Sherlocks, playing some of their first shows. The Claws played some of their first shows. Riskers, Ivory Wave, Phil Madeley, Mahalia. Who else, Jake? You remember? There's
Tentons.
Yeah, Tentons. Yeah.
Think about that. I think Spilt Milk Society might have even had their first ever Birmingham show there.
Yeah, Spilt Milk is good, definitely.
Good times. It was a really good venue to work at. Some really funny people who worked there, and yeah, just a good hour reminiscing about a venue that was well loved but no longer exists.
Yeah, that's the other thing is to say that this is very DIY, as you can well tell, and there are a few recording issues going on with. Ironically, the musical person of the quartet, that was George, and so we had a little bit of issues with that, but just bear with us. I'm not going to edit it. No one's listening anyway, are they, Joe?
No one's listening, and you're too hungover anyway.
Yeah, that's it. So trying to get running again, Jay, as well. So hopefully you aren't watching on your screen isn't getting slimmer. Hopefully I will be, but we shall see. I need to just avoid the 15 bags of crisps I'm eating a day. So.
Yeah, and my beard's starting to come back, although with how much white there is, I look, this is a very niche reference, but I look a little bit like Gary Taylor Fletcher.
If you don't know who Gary Taylor Fletcher is, please Google Gary Taylor Fletcher.
Very old, fat footballer with a terrible beard. So... yeah, it's a compliment if anything.
Right. I would normally say, shall we get our guests on? But They've already been on, but they're coming on for you. So, shall we get a guest on?
Let's get the guest on.
All right, then. Okay, so welcome to today's guest. We've got George Johnson of the Ivory Wave. How you doing, George?
All right, mate. Yeah, Sam.
Good, good. And Harry, long lost friend. How are you, mate?
All right, boys. Glad to be back.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
Has been a long time.
Too long. But it's good to see both of your lovely faces, I have to say. We start every pod asking what you're drinking. Now, just off record, off camera, George from the Ivory Wave, you're supposed to be the rock and roll band, not us. And George,
I know. Packed it all in now, mate. We've fucking...
Well, that's it. George has gone. He's gone. I can't believe you're drinking. It's 3:10.
Yeah.
And we're all well. Yes, I'm drinking Aldi's finest Brassier beer or Brassier.
I did wonder what it was. I saw you. I thought it was that Kronenberg. Is it Kronenberg?
I think it's there.
Not the one they want you to think, mate.
Is that the French word for bra? I think. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. But then, what are you saying, Harry? What are you drinking?
I'm committing a mortal sin, to be honest, mate, because I'm drinking from a Heineken glass, but it's actually Amstel.
Oh, yeah.
Not,
In fact, you've gone up in the world since living in Wolverhampton, mate. I've got to say, that's not really how we roll.
Mate, you want to see? At the second week of lockdown, I got my beer tap ordered, so I've got all my kegs loaded.
I bought one of them as well.
Okay. Bloody hell. How the other half living? Bloody hell.
I know. Yeah. Jay, what are you drinking?
Coors Light, mate.
Oh, Coors Light. Okay. Yeah.
Always watching the calories, mate, obviously.
Other sports do actually deliver. So, before we get into the world of Baddies Boogie that was, George, what's going on with Ivory Wave now you're in lockdown? How are you finding it?
It's all right. We're just writing, man. Just literally just writing. Like I was trying to do like a song a day at one point, but it's just what else can you do really? Do you know what I mean? It's a good music,
isn't it? As we've heard from other people, they've actually had some time. We found we've just been able to actually just sit down and take stock of where we're at, and without all the busyness going on, you can actually just make some plans. But yeah, the other thing is, I saw that you've released the third kit to the Ivory Wave.
Yeah.
Strip. Do you want to tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, so we were trying to just think of a way to raise some money for the NHS, really, and then we were doing these football kits before and whatever, and then we just thought, do a third one.
Is it out now? Yeah,
we'd sold them yesterday. We'd sold out already.
They've all done. They've all
yeah. To be fair, there's only 11. Like, do you know what I mean? We always do like 11, and they just go in like.
And they got one to like you literally can buy your number.
Yeah. So we do like 1 to 11, and then like people message us and stuff saying like, I'll give you 80 quid, like, so I can have number 2. And you're like, mate.
No, that's
like,
carrying
you've got to wait, and
number 2. I mean, like, have it?
Whoa.
Number 7 for Beckham or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, are you lads playing football then? Do you play football?
Nah. So, I think Seb, because Seb's actually from he's born in England and he moved to Spain, and I swear he had like trials at Valencia or something.
Oh, I love that. Look at that.
Trials, man.
No, but it's not like a J off in between us sort of thing, but like honestly, he's class, Seb.
Is he?
Fucking class. Yeah, because we played in London a couple of months back, and our managers we had to get there. It was one of these This Feeling things, and it was like 10 bands on something. And we was headlining it, so we had to get there at 1 in the afternoon. And then, we weren't on until 11 o'clock, something like that. So we had a load of industry coming down, and our manager's like, "Oh, you can't drink, lad. You can't get on the piss because come 11 o'clock, you're absolutely hammered." We ended up going to this. It's like what you call them? Like, do you know what I mean? Like a social sort of. It's not a social club.
You went to an art gallery.
Sports centre. That's what I say. And we had a massive game of football against all the other lads and whatever. It was good, man. Yeah, Seb's just
but he was insane.
class. Yeah, then me and like Luke's like fucking smoking on the, you know what I mean? Like,
Harry fancies himself as a bit of a footballer. So we don't see much of each other at the minute because Harry deserted us and moved town. But I do see on his social media that he's been winning Man of the Match awards left, right, and centre for his Sunday team. So he thinks of himself as a bit of a Valencia ex-trialist himself.
Harry, all I can say is that team must be fucking shit.
Mate, honestly, I don't know where you're seeing Man of the Match awards, but you're right about them being shit. But I don't know about me winning anything.
George, I want to offer you a proposal.
Yeah.
I want you to get some more of those kits printed off, and we'll challenge the Future Sound Project and Friends. Will challenge the Ivory Wave and Friends to a 11-a-side NHS fundraiser. What you reckon?
Yeah.
You fancy? We'll get it on. We'll get it on somewhere. Maybe we'll do. Yeah, we'll put some other things together. But I think that'll be a good idea. We could get some money raised and get some more of those kits sold or whatever. Well, we'll take 11 of the fourth kit straight off your hands.
What Tom's not telling you is that although Tom didn't have trials, he fancies himself as like the world's greatest footballer.
Oh yeah.
He's a little bit like Robbie Savage, really. Essentially, goes around winding people up, kicking people about, running harder than anyone else, and probably just being a nuisance essentially.
That's
Everyone else, Ivory Wave.
Well, I've got a man mark. Yeah, I'm man marking David Silva of Valencia trials. Looking forward to it. But yeah, it's I've traced the archives a bit. And Jay, can you guess? Here's a guess. Can you guess the first date we ever had Ivory Wave play for us at Baddies Boogie?
Well, I should be able to guess this because you sent it me about 10 minutes ago. But I would have thought, and I can't remember the date, but I would have thought it would have been about 2016, maybe.
2016. Do you know when it was, George? What month?
March.
It was. You had a headline show for us in March at the Rainbow, the 25th of March, 2016. However, before that, you played a support for Open Arms. It was still going, aren't they? Open Arms are still doing.
They did a few. There was a song that they had on WM. Like I remember we were on, and then they were on afterwards, and we were like, "Fucking hell!"
That was yeah. And I think that I might be wrong, but I think that was your second ever advertised gig.
I think it was, yeah.
First one at the O2, I think, first.
Yeah, that Arthur Tapp.
Yeah.
Is he still doing this?
I think Arthur's still going, and he Catapult Club. I don't know, obviously, what's going to happen after this, but yeah, he's still going.
Has anyone ever met him yet?
Well,
just him once, about 1996.
yeah, quite a funny little story. So me and Tom were in like a band beforehand, and we had to play, and we got a show with Catapult Club, and we thought that we had to sell like about 100 tickets, and we basically got about 80 people turning up, and so 20 people had like dropped out. So I rang him up, being really young and naive at the time, saying we'll have to drop out because we've only got 80 people. We haven't been able to get the full 100. And it was like, I don't think so. No. Like, don't drop out for that. I was like, I'm just so sorry that we've only been able to sell 80.
Yeah, the stuff you do, you know what I mean? Like, I remember.
Like, you don't realise that actually, like, that's unbelievable, and he's going, oh my god, there's a band who sold a tickets. But I don't think. Ben, we played for Catapult Club probably 15 years ago, and I don't think not 15, maybe 10 years ago. I don't think we ever met him, did we? I don't think.
No, it's like this mysterious fucking bloke, and he like never know.
Maybe he's just like this person that's like a made up name, and it's just like a couple of 14-year-olds.
He's done like Ocean Colour Scene and stuff before. Yeah. I remember I googled him or whatever, and it comes up with all the past gigs and stuff they've done and whatever, and it's like fucking hell.
Like and stuff like that.
Yeah.
No,
in terms of mystery, I think he's up there with that TJ Amphlett as well. TJ.
Yeah, that's.
I remember when I used to like meet like at the gigs and whatever. Which one's TJ then?
Yeah,
he's like
TJ.
We used to say that Harry was TJ.
Yeah.
The amount of times that So when we first started doing Baddies, people would go, "Where's TJ?" And we used to go, "Well, he's not here tonight. Like, he's not come." And then when Harry first came, we made Harry TJ. And then eventually I got fed up of explaining that it was Tom and Jay that made TJ. So I just kept saying, "Yeah, it's me." So I was just like, "Yeah, I'm TJ." So but funnily enough, TJ came about. We used to have Baddies Boogie as the Facebook like human account, and what happened was annoyingly to Jay, I changed my phone, and when it says like privacy, like what is your phone number? I was like going, well, it's not that, it's this, and then basically wanted our passport photo to kind of still be able to continue.
I was looking for Mr. Baddies Boogie,
and but Thomas John, and then Tom and Jay, that kind of worked, so we could send my passport and not lose all the contacts, but TJ came a bit like Arthur Tap. I think Arthur's probably like Doctor Who. I think after about 6 years, someone else takes on the role of him. So it's probably maybe it's like that. Now, Harry, when was your first gig? Can you remember this? Because I've been wrapped my brain.
Have you worked this out? It was mate, I don't know. It must be. I'm pretty sure it was the summer. I can remember walking up Digbeth High Street, sort of T-shirt. I can envisage in my head. But mate, in terms of the very first one, no idea, mate. I don't know.
I think you did a couple of shadow gigs with Jay and I.
Yeah.
And then we let you loose, and then all of a sudden you became Rainbow's favourite worker, working every rave they had to offer and everything.
Yeah. It's once you just get overcome by it, don't you? Do you know what I mean?
I know, yeah. And
once that smell hits you, once you hit the smell of those toilets, you're like, I never want to leave this place.
Funny enough, though, it was around the time that Rainbow closed that Harry moved. So I think he took it so much to heart. He went, you know what? If the courtyard's closed, I'm out. They've took the roof off. I'm off.
Maybe it's just
it did. Yeah. A couple of months after.
George, do you know this? Do you know the story about the Rainbow Courtyard having no roof? Have you heard this one?
No. I don't think we'd ever played there.
No, you were in
we only ever played the cellar, and then that was I never really got, I never really went inside it or whatever.
So it was amazing. It was really, really good venue. One week we turn up, and I think me and you worked it, didn't we, Jay? And we went in, and I was like, what the hell's going on here? And there was literally people, we were supposed to come in for sound check. The people sat on the roof, taking the roof off. And we were like, what's going on? He's like, well, there's a big rave on. They're having like an open space. Literally, that was the last show we ever had in the courtyard. I don't even know if it's got a roof on now, to be honest. They just took the roof off the bloody venue. Literally there and then, didn't they, Jay?
Yeah, we when we were in the our own band, we played the courtyard and the roof was off. It was for a festival, and a bit like what you were saying about having to stay all day. Like we were headlining this festival on like a bank holiday Sunday there, and all of our mates had come down really, really early, and one of them got completely pissed and fell asleep in one of the bottle bins. Literally like we played the gig and we were about to go home, and everyone was like, "Where's Sweeney?" And we looked around, and they pushed him inside this bottle bin. But it was a class venue, and so when we moved over to do Baddies in Birmingham from Wolverhampton, so my first kind of linking with Ivory Wave was Luke. I think was a part of another band for a small period of time. And we booked them at the.
Jay, don't say that, Jay. That's like talking about an ex girlfriend.
Nah, it's funny. Yeah, it's funny that is.
He's hurting his feelings there. Go on.
Nah, it's funny, man.
We got a booked him, and the day before the show, he pulled out. Like literally, just pulled out, and we were like,
"That's about right."
And like basically, like oh well, so. I kind of was like, well, this guy's really unreliable. And then when you got the band together, he kind of messaged us and was like, I've got this new band together. Can we play? And I was like, I can remember having a conversation with Tom going, he wants to play. Does he live in Stourport?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Great memory. So basically, I was like, well, they're going to come the eye from Stourport. And basically, I said, but he pulled out like a day before, last time. But we were like, yeah, well, we'll give them a go. And then all of a sudden, this band turned up with this flipping humongous sound and like a coach load of bloody people and kind of like bloody hell, what on earth? Was the last thing that I was ever expecting. I was expecting like, kind of like.
It's because Luke used to sing as well. He used to be a singer. Yeah, and you see him playing bass now, and he's like, like he's just stood, he just stands there, and he's like, you know what I mean? Like you can't imagine him sing, like giving it, like, do you know what I mean? Singing and whatever, and to be fair as well, he's like such a good bass player. That, like when you watch him playing bass, you think because he used to play guitar, he only bought bass joined the band that me and Luke were in before Ivory Wave. Like he literally bought the day that we went and rehearsal for this band, and it's just one of them things that, when people are just like naturally good at, you know what I mean? Like it just felt right. So I remember that. It's well weird thinking about them old Rainbow gigs, isn't it? Like,
yeah. I heard something once that someone said to me that actually some of the best bass players are guitarists because you kind of come in with quite a unique style then. So yeah, when we were in a band, we had a guitarist bass player who hadn't really picked up a bass, but me and you weren't willing to drop our instruments, were we, Jay? And he was the most talented out of all of us, and he drives the song, doesn't it? But it's just mad though, mate. Like it's amazing, like the success you've had from those days. You've got 101,000 plays on Cool Kids now on Spotify. It's just nuts.
I never knew we got past 100,000.
Yeah, you're past 100,000 now. So you're on 101,709. Well, 710 plays now. I don't know. It's pretty cool, mate. So where were you based? If Luke's from Stourport?
Well, we're from Kidderminster. That's where we're from, really. Like, but it's just one of them things where when we first started, like we were all reading Enemy and stuff like that, and it's like Birmingham was, you know what I mean? And it was like, that's sort of say you're from Birmingham, really. And then we've never ever done a gig like this side of Brum. Do you know what I mean? We've never played like Stourbridge or, you know what I mean? We played Worcester. That was quite.
Yeah.
Sort of saw Birmingham as like, like Nirvana saw like Seattle as like, because I think they're from like Aberdeen or something like that.
Yeah.
Like I saw Seattle as like,
yeah.
Sort of thing.
It's not.
And as well, whenever we play.
Hang on a sec, George. Hang on. I think we've got some sound problems. Can anyone else hear that?
No, gone quiet, bro.
Quiet. George, just try and we'll already. Just see if you can just talk into that. See if we can get your mic back.
Hello?
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. And when we play London and Leeds and places like that, people just say, "Oh, you sound like you're from Birmingham." Do you know what I mean? It's just like, I'll say you're from Brum, isn't it?
It's like the TJ Amplit thing. You just can't be bothered anymore to explain.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
We're from Birmingham. Yeah, that's essentially it's it, isn't it? And plus, 2016, you're still thinking that, there's the Peace and Jaws, Swim Deep is still quite big at that point as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then, saying you're from Birmingham, there was that scene that had really risen up. Saying that right now, though, the Birmingham scene seems to have got that bit of life as well. Yourself and the Claws really riding the wave of that, and Riskers and Spilt Milk, I suppose, are coming back to their roots and things like that. So it's exciting. The Assist as well. I know they're from sort of Warsaw way, but that Birmingham tagline, don't you?
Yeah, it's funny really, because I remember like it was like a couple of years, well, that's a year ago now, probably maybe even more. But one point we all had like a big Facebook chat sort of thing, and we were like, it'd be like a Wednesday night, and someone would text like, I don't know, Mikey from the Assist would message saying like, anyone fancy coming down Sunflower Lounge or whatever tonight, and we'd all end up at like. I think that's where the last time I saw you was at that Peace gig.
It was
Peace gig.
Was it like a Peace like?
The rain? No, the Sunny, wasn't it?
Sunflower Lounge, not that long ago. Well, probably maybe a year and a half or something. But Well, why were they playing the Sunflower Lounge? I can't remember now.
It was something to do with like Jack Daniels had some like big bands had to play. I think like Circa Waves played a venue. I think they were from Liverpool at that.
Yeah, Liverpool. Yeah, that's.
I remember we were all stood at the bar.
Oh, you gonna get again?
Oh, fuck's sake.
Say it again. You're all stood at the bar. Go on.
And then like Harry Koiser came running in with like a coat on his head, like that.
Yeah.
It's just like this band are definitely too big to be playing a venue like this.
It was. That is exactly what happened. Actually, we exchanged our cuddles at the bar, and then and then he comes running over. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Because I think thinking back to the Baddies time and then linking it with yourself and then with Harry as well, is we were kind of really, we've been in a band for so long, but then finding our feet as promoters. You guys were finding your feet as a band, but there still is something quite nice about looking at the ways that you did things and looking at the way things might not have been as polished as they are now, but then actually there's something quite nice about it. I'll tell you a funny story about that night. Actually, I think it might not have been that night, about a week or two before, but someone came up to us, Jay. I don't know if I should tell this, but I'll tell it in a different way. Jay's looking at me as if to say, "Oh God, what's he going to say?"
Don't worry, my wife don't listen to this.
No one listened, Jay. It's fine. So they went. Someone came up and went, "I can't believe you're not Baddies Boogie now. You've sold out." And we're working with another promoter at the time, and it was it was one of them, wasn't it, when we kind of thought, actually, we need to go back to our roots a bit here, because people really liked the fact that we were baddies. You know what I mean? It's kind of, so that was really quite cool in some ways to have those bands that's played those first shows. Like 2 weeks after you, I had a look. We got Riskers play, and you know, and then to see what you guys are doing now, it's just, you know, really really cool. But let's go back to some of those shows, Harry. Tell us some of the things that used to make you chuckle when we were putting shows on down at the Cellar, because I'm sure you've got some funny things to say.
Mate, it was always like there'd be things, the same things would happen each time, and then there'd always be something like mental that you just be like, how has that even like occurred? Like the amount of times where watching bands do sound check is always fine. Obviously, if you're sat in there listening, you guys know, like, going through each of the drums can really, you know, sonically gets right to the back of your ears. Going through guitars, fine. And then, bless them, you know, some poor kid who's coming up, who's like really built up to this show, and then whoever the tech would be, whether it was Carl or whoever, and they'd be like, yeah, just talk into the mic for me now. And they'd get up and be, hello. Simon's farts really smell. I don't really know what to say. And then you'd get somebody, you'd have someone the next week, and they'd actually come on like 1, 2, 1, and I'm like, yeah, okay, we've got a bit of professionalism,
because I know how to count 1, 2. Yeah,
exactly.
They can
count.
Absolutely.
So yeah, to be honest, everything went fairly smoothly. I mean, obviously it was me running it, so it's why it always went so well. I can't remember who it was, which band. Obviously, it's probably not best to mention. It's probably good that I can't remember. But we were playing at what was the venue called, attached to Amusement 13, where we started playing. It was like at the back of Chinatown.
Oh, Dares.
Dares.
Yeah, bloody hell, Dares. You know, if you'd have never said that, that's a raise from my brain.
Yeah, mate, there you go. So we started doing a couple there at Dares, didn't we? So that was new. And I can't remember who the band, like I say, I can't remember who the band were. But obviously the idea was, for the whole set list, the headliners would bring the drum kit and typically like amps and stuff for others to use. And they'd cancelled on the night. And so I'm like ringing, I don't think Tom was picking up as per. So I'm like, I'll call Jay. Jay, mate, this band aren't coming. Like, everyone else is here. It's a manager that I don't know. It's a sound tech that I don't know. So there's nothing friendly going on. And they're like, well, like, wears these headliners with his drum kit. And I'm like, I'm going to sort it. Don't worry. Like, they'll be here in a minute. They come through loads. It was something like the drummer had broke his arm. Then the drummer had gone somewhere. Then the one had to go to a wedding. It was mad. Yeah. So I rung Jay, and Jay was like, right, mate, we've got a drum kit. I can't remember where it was. It might have been at Sunflower Lounge.
Yeah.
And he was like, and I was like, right, yeah, okay, great. What do you want me to do about it? You're gonna have to go and get it.
So we sent you off to collect it from the Vic?
Mate, I did 2 trips. I walked from Dares.
Oh my
God. And
I'm
dragging these drums, like clattering off my legs and everything.
I think we should also say that Harry's about 5'7".
Yeah.
Like, that would have been
get me in the full shot, like.
Yeah. And see, mate, I can still remember to this day, I was sat in the cabin, which is our local pub. I'd added a beer after work, and you'd rung me, and I was like, I called drive over there because I've had about 5 beers now. I was like, you just have to go and get it.
Yeah.
The thing is, George, it was a Friday at about 3:30.
Yeah.
Been strong.
I'll make a habit of a lifetime.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I'm sure the show went on and went smoothly.
Well, it didn't, if I remember right. I think it went on. I don't know if it went smoothly. Yeah. Did you ever play there, George? Did you ever play Dares?
Dares was like one of these venues that sort of it was like we started playing for you, and then like it was at the point where we were starting to do like Sunny and stuff like that. And I remember this venue, Dares, opening, and we never really played there. I saw Vida. Remember Vida?
Yeah, Vida.
I saw Vida and Shambolics there once. But is it all right then? Yeah, it's got like it's got a massive like rave thing at the back, isn't it? Is that amusement 30?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was without saying anything that's going to get me potentially killed. It was a bit frosty, the reception you got there, wasn't it, Harry? Do you remember?
Yeah.
You used to go there and, like you do with most sound techs, to be honest, you go, "Hey, Dean, you're right," and they go. So essentially, yeah, it was quite frosty there from what I remember. I remember that show, Harry, being like a bit of a disaster. Although that tells me about the Baddies Boogie days, Joe. We bought that kit. Well, I think you bought that kit. It was about 50 quid off eBay, wasn't it?
We bought a kit for about. So I can remember on like a Friday there was a band who just said we literally can't bring the kit, and none of the other bands could. So I just went on eBay and I was like, I'll just buy one, and it was literally 50 quid, and I got it to the Sunflower the Rainbow. And Carl Griffin just looked at it and he was like, I can probably tune it up a bit.
Yeah.
And literally, I think probably 300 bands played on that kit. And it probably
You probably did. Bear in mind though, Carl Griffin at the time was the drummer of Superfood.
Yeah.
So like,
I only clocked that like the third gig with you. Because I remember going in. And we used to always shit ourselves at sound man and stuff that we used to think, oh fucking hell, we've got to get on his good books, otherwise he's gonna do a shit sound for us or whatever. And then I remember just looking at him one day and being like, fucking hell, that's the drummer for Superfood, that is. You know what I mean? And he's on tour with Muramasa now, isn't he?
Yeah, he does a lot. He does like Declan McKenna and stuff. Yeah, he's
far too big to be seen with us now.
Well, he's supposed to be coming on a podcast soon, but he said at the minute he's moving house, so we're hoping in June he's going to come on a podcast and we can talk some more. But it was amazing, really, very fortuitous, because sort of as soon as we got to Rainbow, we had an amazing sound tech, to be fair, didn't we, Jay? And basically they wanted to use their own staff, and Jay and I were like, well, we can't do that. We've got our own sound tech kind of thing, and then Carl walked in, and we were like, "Oh, he's in Superfood. I'm sure we can. I'm sure we can make
coming out, yeah."
And he's literally like the nicest guy you could ever meet in the whole.
Yeah, he is.
So,
not that we thought he was at the time, and this is something I was going to pick up with him. We supported the Twang at the O2 on probably our last ever show, and the supports were Superfood and our band. And I remember our drummer, he just got a new skin, or he got a skin which said Dakota Beats on. And so he basically went up to Carl and went, we can use my drum kit if you want, because they obviously wanted our skin to be shown out. So I was like, nah. And I was like, I can't believe it. I can't believe he done that. Who does he think he is? Anyway, he turns up. I'm going, Jay, should I tell him about the drums? But yeah, it turned out all right in the end, I suppose. But,
No, he was very good at what he did.
Yeah, it was. To be fair, we used to give him we had, because we were giving lots of bands their first sort of shows, and sometimes we'd have 4, 5, sometimes 6 bands to sort of sound check within 2 hours. We'd have to, and he was so patient, wasn't he? To be honest, and we used to do loads of recordings. In fact, George, I'll have to have a dig out the Dropbox somewhere, because I reckon somewhere we've probably got you recorded from 2016. I've
probably got it off this
I
laptop.
want to fucking hear it, man.
I'm going to put it out.
Yeah, there's a video actually. There's a video. It's just on YouTube that someone recording, and we're playing at the Rainbow.
Oh, class!
And it's we're playing. I think we're playing club actually, which is we used to play that halfway through the set, and then now it's just the song that we always end on. Do you know what I mean? Like a bit of a fan favourite sort of thing.
Yeah.
But there's a video online. It's literally records on some BlackBerry or something. Do you know? And it's videos of fucking shit.
Yeah.
But if you go online, I'm wearing this shirt that's probably 3 extra large. Then when that was a thing to wear a massive vintage shirt.
I remember it was a thing, but now that's what I'm wearing. So full circle, really. I've been able to get my old clothes out.
But yeah, if you go out, I actually the other night I watched a load of our old stuff, just us people, you know what I mean, recording what, because it's you sort of it's not you just see it for what it is. Do you know what I mean? You don't really. It's not people don't really care if they record you wet, good or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's your worst sort of thing. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Looking back at those kind of just the early days of being in a band, and now being 4 years down the line and have achieved what you've been able to achieve so far.
Yeah.
What's different about these days to those days? Because I kind of found when we were here in the band that actually the early days I probably enjoyed more in some weird ways, whereas our later days when we were doing better gigs, it was more of a kind of, not a job, but actually I felt more of a responsibility on the fact that we actually had to be quite good.
Yeah, well, me and Luke were just messaging each other actually, saying we used to just get fucking hammered. Literally used to get hammered, man. They're now we'll play gigs and whatever, and we just don't even touch the drink or whatever, and because at one point, I remember we were playing Leeds and stuff like that, and it was turning into a stag do. Do you know what I mean? We were literally all in the van, fucking sound check.
That's exactly
beers on the go and that, and then come 9 o'clock, you on another planet and whatever. And then what I remember just one day we sort of just said do you know what? What are we doing? People have paid money to come and see us, sort of thing. And we're it's not as if we're some big band or whatever that could sort of get away with it. Do you know what I mean? We just fucking knocked it on the head, to be fair. But it was more fun back in the day. 'Cause it was now we've sort of got a level of expectation. Do you know what I mean? People sort of that's that sort of thing where people have paid money to come and see it. Do you know what I mean? But back in the day, it was just do whatever. Do you know what I mean? Try something out. Remember I used to go to the crowd and stuff like that, and do you know what I mean? I'd never do that now, just because it's just something you just mess about with, don't you? Do you know what I mean? Just finding who you are as a band,
I think
really.
I think the thing is, what happens, George, is it's all right to drink when you're either in the early days of a band like yourself, or just in a band which only sells tickets to the mates, because they're doing it as well, and it's part of the kind of that. But when you start getting your own fans, which have come just purely out of just hearing you, seeing you, following you, and they're actually grown from that process, then you actually start after being a bit more professional, and you're getting onto the big shows. The This Feeling show that you did that big festival thing. You've got to perform, because as you say, there's industry going to be coming to watch you, etc., etc.
That's it. Yeah.
You don't want to be the people, You look silly, don't you? But when you get to that,
Like, I remember we played in.
George, you gone off again, mate? Yeah.
Yeah.
We're good now.
Yeah, we're all good.
We played in Nottingham and like we'd sold it out at the venue. This wasn't actually even that long ago, to be fair, but like we played it and I remember we were just like hammered and it was just like, what are we doing, man? That was probably the last gig that we did.
Yeah.
Just kind of drink and whatever. Yeah. But it's just one of them things that you sort of like just want to go. You watch like a video of the afterwards and you think, I'm singing fucking shit, or like, you know, Connor's playing out, you know, out of time or whatever, or something like that. Luckily, Seb, like, he never drinks and he's never drunk the whole time we've been in a band. And because he's like the drummer, you can't really like, do you know what I mean? We've been lucky to have a drummer that's just like sober all the time. So it's sort of like,
he keeps you in time.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So it's sort of like you sort of get away with it, but
I have to say, this Seb sounds so perfect.
Yeah.
Well, he's taking siestas at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, he's getting his sleep. Harry, let's dig back. Let's just rewind a bit. You texted me the other day something which made me chuckle. Do you want to tell me what it was? You don't know names, but just tell me what it was, because
I feel like names don't need to be named in order for it to be, you know, fairly clear.
Go on, say it. No one listens. It's just
No, it's true. Now we used to have. So we did these. I say we. Obviously, the guys put on these acoustic Sundays. So like Fridays was noisy night, rowdy. Sunday was a bit more sort of incense, candle lit, really nice, really nice vibes, mate. You're all good.
For those people not watching Super Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. Right, yeah.
we are just
go.
It's the start about 4 o'clock, didn't it, as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
4 till 10. Harry still got paid £20.
Regardless.
Same fee, mate. Same fee. Sunday, innit? Where else is going to be open?
Carry on.
Yeah, well, exactly. But yeah, so they were dead nice. But we had this one artist who would consistently play for us, and they were very good. They were very nice to listen to, but also had a bit of a strange relationship with with her dad, who would bring her along, and he was intense, wasn't he, Tom?
Yeah. One day he asked.
I don't think who this is now.
I think he said that the aircon was affecting her vocal cords.
Yes, it was the incense. So
we put candle incense because we wanted to make it all, you know, peaceful, and we're lighting the candles and whatever. And he was saying, "Can you blow the candles out?"
It's getting into the back of her throat. It's affecting the cords.
it's not good for her. Oh dear. And I can't go any further because
no, but it was intense.
Yeah,
it was intense.
We're gonna get
I think I've hit onto something remarkable, actually, boys. Just whilst you were chatting, then I've had a flick through my Baddies Boogie folder, which I still have on my computer.
There's a Baddies Boogie folder.
Go on.
How many tickets did Ivory Wave? Tell me.
Yeah, exactly. Let's take a guess. Nah, but seriously,
probably like fucking 24 or something.
Honestly,
like that. Shit.
I've just arranged them from date last opened.
Oh, okay.
So obviously, once a gig was done, I would never really need to refer back to that spreadsheet.
I mean, you weren't studying, you weren't revising.
Well, exactly.
We've got this band playing again. You went looking at what happened last time.
So, when did you say Ivory Wave's first Baddies gig was?
February the 5th, 2016.
I think that was my first Baddies.
No way. That is ridiculous.
How weird is that?
Headlined by the Youngs.
Oh, no, not quite.
No.
I remember them.
But I do remember them. It was February the 5th, 2016. I've got it headlined by Open Arms.
When was this then?
Everyone fucked off after we played, I remember. It was like an empty room.
I think I was there, and I'm pretty sure that
You was, yeah.
I'm pretty sure what?
So I've got the Rainbow Courtyard there was no bar. Well, there was a bar, but everyone used to stop in like the pub part and then come down. I can remember working that show, and Harry might have been there. In fairness, I'm not sure. But I can remember it being like empty, and then I was thinking, Ivory Wave have done about 40 tickets, and all of a sudden this flipping minibus turns up. Everyone's drinking in at the bar. You start to play, everyone piles in, and then you finish off, and everyone goes back out straight into the bar.
We're in the Crown down the road.
Yeah,
I remember. My mum used to come to gigs and stuff like that, and I remember she'd turned up like separately because we were all in the pub. She went downstairs and she went. Remember when like bands don't know how long their set is?
Yeah.
It's like, you're on at 8:30 or whatever, so like we'll get there for like 8:15 or something.
Yeah.
And she texted me at like fucking, like 7:45, saying like the band have finished. Like you need to come back. Like so we all fucking bolted to the event. I can remember literally just like walking on, like just like that and started playing because it was like straight away we had to be on stage. We'd all be in the Crown down the road.
Do you know what, George? When I talked about things not being quite as polished as they are, that's obviously one of the things that I don't think we've ever had an issue like that now. But at the time when you're first learning, we were learning as promoters and bands were learning as bands. And so things like timings, that kind of that was an issue. Now, for me and Jay hearing that back now, it's like, well, we send so many things out to bands, don't we, Jay, really, talking about the timings and constant communication with the rep, blah, blah, blah. It's a talking point, isn't it? It's something to laugh at, like it's good in the weird way. It's,
When we played with Jaws...
just drop that in.
Yeah. When we played with them, our set was like 40 minutes long and it was supposed to be half hour. We just like went over like massively, and I remember that like every night they were saying, "Lads, like fucking cut the set." We were like, "No, like." Do you know what I mean? Like, fucking practiced it, man. Just leave it. Like,
loads of 14-year-old girls went home crying because they couldn't play Stay In.
Who was it? Who we played with in Wolverhampton? Who were on tour, and we were like main support, and we literally played as long as we wanted, and then they had to cut the song, and then their booking agent went mental at us.
Oh, in the early days?
Yeah.
Oh, Mission for Glory?
No. You used to really like them. It's when Breen's going and listen to them.
Oh, Underground Heroes.
Underground Heroes, man.
You ever hear them, George?
Nah, I ain't, to be fair.
Have a look. Have a listen to them.
Have a Google of them. They sounded a bit like London Chimney Sweeps. But they...
That's not like Dick Van Dyke, you'll love them.
But they were... they were...
Jamie T kind of way.
In some ways, yeah, but imagine Jamie T is like trying to be in the Libertines.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like Pete.
For 15-year-olds.
Okay.
If that makes sense. It's like Libertines, but for 15-year-olds. So these rapping about
and like, it was pretty much so sold out, and we thought because we'd done 30 tickets out of the 150, 200, that we therefore could decide how long. We were really naive when we were in our first band, and we just basically said, well, our set's 45 minutes, so we're going to play 45 minutes, even though they've only given us 25 minutes. And basically, I think because we were, I don't know, obnoxious, the sound guy never told us to get off. And then when we finished, the booking agent, like, obviously when you play with touring bands, like the whole idea is to impress the booking agent, came up when he was furious. I'd say. And that was the last time that we played with them.
Yeah. Harry, we were telling the story on one of the other podcasts when you obviously couldn't work one of the days, and we were rapidly trying to find someone to work, and we went to watch Honey Blood at Mama Roo. So Jay and I couldn't work. We had tickets for that, and we came back, and she was copping off with the lead singer, one of the headline band at the Rainbow. Wasn't Ivory Wave, but but that was.
We walked in, cash box open, my laptop to the side, completely there, no one on the door, and I was like, "Where is she?" Then, "Oh, she's upstairs." And for some reason, there was a Mr. Sizzle outside. He was there, copping off with the lead singer with a bag of chips. I was like, "Right."
He used to park up because when I used to work, he used to get loads of business. So he used to. That's why I used to get in. Well,
That's what happened, boys. We didn't know like what happened until I couldn't work a gig. Do you know what I mean? We didn't realise how good it was.
that's it, mate. You
I
know,
think we'd say though, Harry, and all jokes aside, out of all the reps that we've ever had, you were easily the best one that we ever had.
I mean,
And like you're probably the only one that we've ever had that wasn't in a band, really.
yeah, my honesty.
that was interesting though, because lots of people they kind of know what it's like to be at soundcheck because they've done it in a band normally, but you've kind of did it a bit differently, didn't you?
Yeah, mate. Obviously, so me and Tom obviously know each other through like family friends. So there's no kind of like band link or anything there. And I'm not musical at all, like school choir, and that was about it. But it was always dead nice because like bands would come over and like obviously try and chat to me and you know, when sound check or whatever, and they'd be like, oh, so you know, do you play? No. Well, like nothing. No. No guitar? No, nothing.
No, nothing.
You ever been in a band? No. And they'd come over like asking about, you know, so the sound tech had gone off somewhere, and they'd say, oh, you know, mate, one of our lads has left his DB349 cable at home. Do you know if you've got one? And I'd be like, yeah, I'll just sort that out for you. No.
I think that's what it is. I think because you were so helpful, I think like I would have just gone, nah. But you were like, just give me 2 seconds. I'll sort that for you.
Yeah.
I think that was the thing. George, quick fire, mate. I want to pick your brains on a couple of the things that we've talked about so far in the podcasts. Songwriting. Who writes your songs?
Me, Luke, Connor, and then we all write him really. It's not really like a.
Do you come to practice with like a song? Say you may have written at home, maybe on the acoustic guitar or whatever, or has someone done that, or is it? Do you write the lyrics and then how does it work? Like in that sort of process way?
Connor normally makes like a beat and a little bit of like a sort of the chords.
Yeah.
And then he'll send it to Luke, and Luke will put his bass on and whatever. And then when we go to practice, we just sort of sit and it's all like we write it like how a DJ or something like that would write. Really, I've literally never written a song on guitar.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? So I suppose you're just layering on top of that initial beat.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and then at the end of that practice, we'll take it home, and I'll just make a loop of it and loop it for like a day, and just like write the words to that loop. Do you know what I mean?
That's really, Joe. That's probably the most unique way we've heard, isn't it? Really, that's
Yeah, definitely. Most of when we obviously spoke to the Claws and Alom, and both of them are kind of like just a more traditional kind of acoustic guitar kind of way. And when we used to write together, but it would still be kind of.
Niall writes the songs in the Claws, doesn't he? The drummer, I think.
Really?
Well, he didn't let him take credit for that. If that was the case,
maybe not. Then maybe I don't know. I heard that. It was a drummer a lot of it.
He basically said that they kind of built them together at practice. Is kind of what he said. But we'll take.
That's what our lead singer would say, though.
Yeah. Next one. Quick question. We talked about branding last week. Your releases feature televisions, and you had like a bit of like almost like a phone SIM card. What's the thing behind that?
Don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. No, we just like
because all your releases so far. Well, your last sort of your EP and then the single off the EP were televisions, weren't they?
Yeah.
And then like the promo that I've seen after that on your Instagram's been like television based.
Yeah.
But it's cool, like, but I just don't know.
We basically like because I do all the artwork and that, and when we were doing Uptown, we were trying to think of like things to do with like stuff that you have on a night out. So like originally it was going to be like a club stamp on an hand or something like that, and then we made that, and we even got like I don't know if you know Ryan Killeen. he's a graphic designer in Birmingham. He's done a lot of stuff for like JK, stuff like that. But he actually even like properly did it and whatever. And fair play to him. He got like, model and everything to model this print on the hand and whatever. And then we got it, and I just said, I don't like it, mate. And then you know what I mean? And it was just one of these things. And then like, and then it was going to be like little baggy. Like, do you know what I mean? And with Uptown written on it and stuff like that. And then,
for everyone at home, to make this able that we can be sponsored on YouTube, I'm going to say that's Baggy Bird, everyone.
Yeah. And then obviously, our manager's like, you can't have that. Do you know what I mean? And then, and then that was it. It was going to be like a taxi, like the meter. Yeah. And then, for whatever reason, I just thought, from that like electronic things, I just thought TVs. Mm-hmm. And then we rehearsed in like a pub that had a hotel upstairs, but the hotel was like totally abandoned.
Where's that? Is it in Kidderminster or
Stourport? This was. I was speaking to the bloke one day in the pub, and I said, "Oh, I'm after some like old, TVs." He said, "Oh, mate, I've got like hundreds upstairs because it's all the rooms. Obviously, like it's completely abandoned. All these TVs. You had to just go in, and like we had to go in up this hotel. Mate, it was literally like haunted. You know what I mean? Like one of these horrible like rats, like pigeons in there and all stuff like this. And anyway, we got all these TVs and whatever, and it's just like one of the. And then like I just like like once you get an idea for something, then you can sort of keep going and keep going and keep. You know what I mean? It's just one of these things.
So all the TVs on the Dream Nights EP came out at that hotel.
Yeah.
That's class. I love that. And then you had the greatest game of hide and seek the world has ever seen.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
In that hotel.
It was horrible. Honestly, it was vile. And then I had to strip all the like cables and everything on the back because they'd all been eaten by like rats and shit like that.
Oh no.
Can we use them on stage now? I don't know whether you're sitting on the stage.
Yeah. Where are you putting them? Just like by the laptop and that. He plays through a laptop, doesn't he?
No, not anymore. No, he's sort of simple now. Back in the day, it would be like Logic with like the default fucking synths and whatever.
Yeah.
And now it's like they sound shit for like now it's all proper. But what the lads just do, they just take their flight cases off them, you just stick them on stage. Whenever we play, like literally the sound men are like, lads, how much electricity do you need? Because we've got like 5 TVs on stage and whatever, and they're like, if you fucking short the stage, lads, you know what I mean? Like,
that's absolutely classic. But then that's what I really like, because then you've then took your branding onto the stage.
Yeah, that's the thing. We were just
detail. It's really cool. That I like to unpick, because for some people you just look at that and go, yeah, that looks cool, but then actually there is a story somewhere, like and you just we played in
London actually. We played in London a couple of weeks back. That same gig actually, we played football.
Yeah.
And Carl Barrett came and went.
I saw the pictures
in the crowd, and the lads sort of had a word with him afterwards. And I was my sister had come to see us because she lives in London. I was chatting to her. Luke comes over. He's like, mate, you got to fucking come out the back. I'm like, why? He's like, mate, fucking Carl Barrett's here. Like, fucking hell. Anyway, first thing he said to me was, I like the TVs, mate. And we were like, fucking hell. Like, I thought, the thing is, because we thought he'd be like totally, because he's quite like rock and, you know what I mean? Like quite old school rock and roll. Yeah. He's like, love that. No, so next time they tour, they'll probably have all TVs on stage, won't they?
He's seen that from somewhere. That's it. Yeah. He's robbed it off him. Harry, who was the most famous person that came to watch you work for Baddies Boogie?
Oh, mate, we had all sorts.
I know the answer to this.
Go on.
Shafali.
Oh, Shafali. Do you remember Shafali used to come down? BBC Midlands Today weather girl.
No.
She used to come down to the Baddies Boogie nights.
Never got pointed out to me.
Well,
open your eyes, mate. Bloody hell.
I know. The one where I was a bit like, oh, that's class. Was I don't think he was called 10 Tons at the time, but obviously it's now.
We did.
And you were like, mate, George Ezra's brother's coming down to play.
Yeah. We had Ethan Barnett, who's now 10 Tons, isn't it? And funnily enough, I have the recording So he released Lucy, like, I don't know, about a year or two ago, but he hadn't put it on any of the initial stuff. Then that Lucy song went really big for him. And I was like, I've got that recording from 2015 on my laptop.
Mm-hmm.
And he played that at that time. And it's about 10 times slower. But that was quite a weird one. We had Mahalia as well, didn't we? Who's gone on to do quite good things from Birmingham. We had Mahalia as well. My favourite were Palace, though, Jay.
They're great, man.
I love Palace. Yeah, we had Palace and the Sherlock stuff that we had, the Baddies Boogie, really, that was ridiculous.
I was going to say earlier, I didn't want to like cut in across you guys, but when we were talking about the roof coming off the courtyard, that Sherlock's gig, like it basically did that one. I know they played a couple of times, didn't they? But the one that I came to see, mate, it was just carnage. Yeah,
I spoke to them actually today. Funnily enough, the first time I spoke to them about 2-3 years, and they were saying how mad those nights were. But we had all the problems because the fans had brought flares in. Do people bring flares to your gigs, George?
We had.
I can imagine you've got flares at your gigs.
Yeah, with the Institute, we had to. Some lads set one off and whatever.
Yeah, so we had the fire alarms go off at the Rainbow and do you remember that, Harry? We had like people coming in for the refunds. We had no idea who bought. Some people just trying it on because they actually got physical tickets. Some people saying, "Well, I bought," and we had no idea where all this cash was supposed to go. It was honestly a nightmare. We ended up saying basically, if you've got a ticket, then play again. But I think, Jay, didn't they end up playing the next one in front of like only about 50 people when the first one had like 300?
Yeah, it was a bit of a nightmare, that was. But then they still came back again.
Yeah. I remember the one of them, you guys kind of spent, like, I was there, like, dead excited for it, thinking it's going to be class, and then you guys were, like, basically, like, just on edge the whole time, like, any second now, some knobhead's going to come over with a flare.
That was basically it. And we used to produce and we've spoke about this, so we won't talk about it in too much detail, but in the Baddies Boogie days, our riders were for bands like Sherlock's weren't special, were they, Joe? We used to go to that. What was that chicken place called, Joe? Chicken Licking or something like that?
Roosters, yeah.
So we used to go and get them a meal from Roosters.
How much chicken can we get for 10 quid, mate?
That was basically what it was. It was shocking.
Is that the one up past, opposite the Tesla garage?
It's
further down.
It's the one between the Rainbow and the Crown.
Yeah. I know.
It's like rank, but Tom was probably the only customer every week.
And me.
Walking, and he'd I'll have it all. Keep it coming.
Food if you can for £5, please.
The kind of place that you can walk out with a 5-piece chicken meal and a 30-inch plasma TV.
Yeah, it was that. I think I really enjoyed that. It's took me back down memory lane a bit to do with Baddies Boogie in the Rainbow. I think maybe, Jay, we'll have to think of another one to go and talk at our talk tea rooms time.
I want to do that with Dom.
Yeah, I'd like to do that with Dom. He's a great character. But I have to say, George, we're really impressed, mate, with what you're doing, and we're in a weird way proud of the bands that first started playing and what you're doing. So keep it up, keep flying the flag for the local scene. Yeah, really, really good. And cheers for coming on, Harry.
We're really proud of you as well, mate.
Yeah, I was about to say, mate, come on.
Blow the nest. And if you ever want to come,
if you ever need 20 quid.
Yeah, mate. To be honest, you got any gigs coming up?
Yeah. Well, no, unfortunately, no. Who knows when we'll be back? But when we are back, we will be back. But to be fair, ending with that, we do have we've got lots of exciting things to announce, haven't we, Jay, coming up?
Oh, lots of exciting things, yeah.
Lots of exciting things. Plus, hopefully, a charity football match. I'm going to push that for when we're all back into the normal world. So, George, 11, or let's say a squad of 16 of your finest,
best men,
of your best men.
I don't think I've got that many mates. But
well, you have to put it on the. Thing is, they can probably hold trials. They could have national trials. Oh, they bloody have all these Valencia ex-schoolboys.
Yeah. Spanish.
Harry, we'll let you know if you make the squad.
Yeah, thanks, boys. Yeah. If not, I'm a great kit man.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Harry's going to stamp everyone's hands on the way in.
Yeah.
But no, it's been really good to chat with you. So yeah, we'll see you next time. That was episode 5, all about Baddies Boogie years. See you later.